Let's now discuss data collection. Third chapter, data sources, data collection, techniques and tools we use for collecting data, and how to process the data for analysis purpose. So in this case, measuring things and data collection. So these are the data collection tools, questionnaires, interviews, observations, and we measure all the data. First of all, let us know what is data, why it is so important. The meaning of data is that the search for answers to research question is called collection of data. Data are facts and other relevant materials, past and present, serving as basis for study and analysis. So some of the examples we can take for data as the types of loans secured by borrowers, for example, for a credit survey. So if you want to conduct a credit survey, you can take the data, the types of loans secured by borrowers. And the items of raw materials required for a product line. If you want to know about materials management, what are the items of raw materials required for a product line? This is a data. So the quantity of each material required for a unit of output. This is also a data. So facts and other relevant material, past and present, serving as basis for study and analysis is called a data. So another example we can give for data, the sex, age, social class, religion, income level of respondents in a consumer behavior study. So while making a study, consumer behavior study, we collect data based on gender, male, female, right? And age also, teenage, children, adults, like that. And social class also. Social class in the sense, which class of people they are, whether they are employees, in case they are employees, what kind of job. So like that, social class. And also, here we can take the people on the basis of their general OBCs, like that, social classes. So religion, which religion he belongs to, income level of respondents. So to study the consumer behavior, we collect the data relating to all this. It is the gender, age, social class, religion, income level of respondents, all those things. All these are data. And the opinions of eligible couples on birth control devices. Say for example, if you want to make a study on family planning survey, you need data on this opinions of eligible couples on birth control devices. Then the other example of data is the capital expenditure proposals considered by a firm during a year. If you want to see the financial management, how effectively the finances of a business are managed, so you can see that capital expenditure proposals considered by a firm during a year. That becomes a data. And data also relating to the marks obtained by students of a class in a test on a particular subject. This is to see the performance of students, you need this kind of data. All these are the examples of data. Also, some other examples of data are the opinions of people on voting in a general election. Now, if you want to study the opinion poll, you can collect data from the people uh, about their opinion, on what basis they vote to which party, why, uh, all these things. So opinions you can collect from the data from the people to see to study the opinion poll or general election about general elections. So that becomes a data. So you'll have a questionnaire, or otherwise face to face you can ask the questions and know the opinion of the people about this their voting patterns. So that another example of data is the types of news read by newspaper readers. So readership survey. So if you want to know why people are reading a particular newspaper or particular magazine or journal, so you can make a survey. So types of news read by newspaper readers. What type of news they read? We don't read the entire newspaper. We look for certain things. So on that basis, you can collect data, whether it is business news or sports news or any political news or any such kind of other things. So that information you can collect from the news readers, newspaper readers. That becomes a data. Another example is the aspirations of management trainees. So the emerging managers in Indian enterprises, to know about the emerging enterprise managers in Indian enterprises, you can collect the data from management trainees uh, about their aspirations, the aspirations of management trainees, whether they want to work for somebody or they want to have their own business entrepreneurship, whether they take up that entrepreneurship or they work as managers for somebody. So such kind of data you can collect from the management trainees. The types of and the frequency of breakdowns occurred in a particular brand of scooter. So if you want to know post-purchase behavior survey, uh, once the buyers bought this scooters or any product, if you want to know their post-purchase behavior about the product, you can make this kind of survey. The types and frequency of breakdowns. If it is a scooter, you can collect the data about its what type of breakdown, how frequently it happens. All those things can be collected. So these are the types of data. So meaning of data we have seen. The search for answers to research question is called collection of data. Data are facts and relevant materials, uh, past and present, serving the basis for study and analysis is called data. So these are the examples of data. Then types of data should understand. How many types of data are available? So the data needed for a social science research may be broadly classified into two categories or three categories. One is data pertaining to human beings, data relating to organizations, and data pertaining to territorial areas. So three broadly, this data needed for social sciences can be classified into three categories. There is data pertaining to human beings, data relating to organizations, and data pertaining to territorial areas. Territorial areas in the geographical areas. So about human beings, data about human beings, data about organizations, that is companies, data on the basis of geographic regions, area wise. Broadly, this data related to needed for social sciences can be classified into three types. See, personal data or data related to human being consists of demographic and socio-economic characteristics of individuals. So demographic and socio-economic characteristics. So demographic in the sense the geographical region where they are domiciling, where they are staying. That is demographic. Whether they are living in urban or rural, semi-urban, uh, which region, that is demographic. And socio-economic characteristics, what kind of class of society they are, social class, and the economic related information, their income levels, their job they are doing, right? Profession they are doing, all those no, family income, educational levels, all this no, we collect the socio-economic characteristics of individuals. So here, demographic and socio-economic characteristics of individuals are no, age, sex, that is gender, male, female, or something like that. Race, then social class, religion, marital status, married or unmarried, like that. Education, occupation, income, family size. What is the size of the family? How many members are there in that family, like that? Then location of the household. So location of the household, where it is where they are staying, whether it is they are staying in metropolitan cities or urban areas or semi-urban areas or rural areas, like that. So these are lifestyle that also come under socio-economic characteristics or demographic characteristics of individuals. The other no, type of data is behavioral variables. So behavioral variables, uh, behavior of human beings, their attitude, opinions, awareness levels, knowledge, practice, then intentions. So these are behavioral variables. So organizational data consists of data relating to an organization's origin. This is data relating to personal, right? Personal data are data related to human beings. One is demographic and socio-economic characteristics of individuals, behavioral variables. So demographic and socio-economic characteristics of individuals are, we have seen, age, sex, race, social class, religion, marital status, education, occupation, income, family size, location of the household or family lifestyle, all these are. Behavioral variables are attitudes, opinions, awareness, knowledge, practice, no, practice or intentions, all these behavioral. So then the second class of the thing is organizational information. So organizational data is relating to the companies. So when it comes to data relating to organizations, this consists of data relating to organization's origin, ownership, objectives, then resources, functions, performance, and growth. So organizational information relating to data relating to its origin, its ownership, its objectives, its resources, functions, performance, and growth. So this is organizational data. Then territorial data, or no, it is relating to area. Uh, so this data related to geographical characteristics, resources endowment, population, occupational pattern, infrastructure, structure, degree of development, etc. So all regions are not the same. There are areas or geographical regions which are which have resources in abundant no, cases. Uh, Endowment is the resource endowment, what we call. Some areas are rich in mineral resources, natural resources, like that. Climatic conditions would be different. Geographical characteristics would be different, right? Population is different. Some in urban areas, for example, population density is very high, where in rural areas it is scattered, like that. Then occupational pattern. So in urban areas, different occupations would be there. So many people will be working in different jobs. Some are doing their own business. Some are running shops. Like that, occupation would be different, pattern of occupation. Then infrastructure is different from area to area. Structure also different. So degree of development. Some areas are well developed. Some are moderately developed. Some are underdeveloped, like that. So all these are the data relating to territorial areas, that is geographical areas. So all these of spatial divisions like villages, cities, taluks, districts, state, and the nation, like that. So these are the data relating to territorial areas or geographical areas. So we have seen three types of data: data relating to individuals, that is personals, that is demographic and socio-economic characteristics of individuals and behavioral variables, and data relating to organizations, that is organizations origin, ownership, objectives, resources, functions, performance, and growth, and data relating to geographical areas like their geographical characteristics, resources endowment, population, occupational pattern, infrastructure, structure, degree of development, all these are. So these are the uh, types of data. So then let us see how important the data is. Why the data is so important. So importance of data. This data serves as the basis or raw materials for analysis. So without the data or the raw material, the raw materials, uh, analysis cannot be possible. So without an analysis of factual data, no specific inferences can be drawn on the questions under study. So once you collect the data, that provides a basis for analysis purpose. We tabulate all this data, we classify the data. Classification is nothing but grouping of data. Similar type of data can be grouped. So we prepare the tables and we compare one with that of the other. That is possible. That needs data. Without data, that cannot be done. So inferences based on imagination or guesswork cannot provide correct answers to research questions. So this should be kept in mind. If you want to say something, you cannot imagine and guess and tell that. That cannot provide correct answers to research questions. So the relevance, adequacy, and reliability of data determine the quality of the findings of the study. So the data should be relevant, adequate data should be collected, and the reliable data also should be collected. So that such type of data only would determine the quality of the findings of the research study. So that's why the important, the data is very important for research work. So data form the basis for testing the hypothesis formulated in a study. We have seen what is hypothesis, how the hypotheses are formulated. To test this hypothesis formulated in a research study, so what is the basis? Data forms the basis for this testing of hypothesis. So data also provide the facts and figures required for constructing measurement scales and tables. So here, which tools we can use for analysis purpose depends upon data. All the data doesn't need all kinds of tools for analysis purpose. So it all depends upon the data, which data you have collected, which tool is suitable for no, analysis purpose. So data also provides the facts and figures required for constructing measurement scales and tables, so which are analyzed with statistical techniques. Inferences on the results of statistical analysis and tests of significance provide the answers to research questions. So thus the scientific process of measurements, analysis and testing and no, inferences, all this depends upon the availability of relevant data and their accuracy. So it is clear that the scientific process of measurements, analysis, testing and inferences depends on the available data and relevant data and their accuracy. So hence the importance of data for any research study is so significant. That's why this is the importance of data. Then what are the sources of data? Where do we get this data? That is more important. So the sources of data are, can be classified into two categories: primary sources and secondary sources. So which are the primary sources of data? So primary sources are original sources from which the researcher directly collects data that have not been previously collected. So for example, collection of data directly by the researcher on brand awareness, brand preference, brand loyalty, and other aspects of consumer behavior from a sample of consumers by interviewing them. So here, if you go to the market, I mean outside, and ask the people directly about all this, what is your brand of the product, which product you use, why do you prefer that brand, no, how loyal you are to that brand, and other consumer behavior aspects. If you collect directly from the respondents by interviewing them, that becomes a primary source. So primary data are first-hand information collected through various methods such as observation, interviewing, mailing, etc. So primary data are first-hand information collected through various methods. Methods of data collection, primary data collection is observation, interviewing and mailing. So you can observe when somebody is consuming the product or producing a product, when they are doing something. If you keep on watching them, what they are doing, how they are doing, so you understand something that can be put on paper. That becomes a primary data. That is one method of collecting data. Interviewing is directly you go and ask them about the product, about how the process, how they are preferring, how they are liking, what are their what made them to like that product very much. By interviewing, if you collect, that's another method, interviewing method. Or otherwise, the other method is you are getting responses through mails. You mail them to the questionnaire and they respond to you. So that is another method. Mailing is another method of collecting the primary data. So this is primary sources of data and this is primary data, and these are the methods collecting primary data. And secondary sources, another class of data is secondary sources. So these secondary sources are containing data which have been collected and compiled for another purpose. This is already collected information is called secondary data. The purpose would be different. So the secondary sources consists of readily available compendia and already compiled statistical statements and reports whose data may be used by researchers for their studies. For example, census, then census reports. If you see the census reports, it's already collected. From that census reports, you get what is the total population, right? How many male, how many female, their ages, all those things can be from which household they are, what class of people they are, from which category they are, which religion they are. All this data can be collected uh, from this source. I mean, census reports, annual reports, and financial statements of companies. So you can see the balance sheets or income statements of the companies, annual statements, reports, and also financial statements of the companies. Already it is provided, published, you get the data from these sources. And statistical statements, reports of government departments is already reported. So if you collect data from such sources, that becomes secondary data, and that source is secondary source. Then annual reports on currency and finance published by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, if you take the publishing the reports of RBI, you get so much of information and data on financial aspects through annual reports. Statistical statements relating to cooperatives and regional rural banks published by the NABARD. The NABARD already published, you get the data about it. Reports of the National Sample Survey Organization, reports of trade associations, publications of international organizations such as UNO, IMF, World Bank, ILO, WHO, World Health Organization, International Labour Organization, International Monetary Fund, or United Nations organizations. So all these institutions publish their reports. From that reports also you get the data. So all these are secondary sources, and data collected from these reports already published is called secondary data. So trade and financial journals also you can refer for collecting secondary data. So newspapers also secondary sources. So if you read the newspaper, you get some information. If you use that information, that becomes like secondary data, and that newspaper is a secondary source. So these are the secondary sources of data. So secondary sources consists of not only published records and reports, but also unpublished records. So the unpublished records includes various records and registers maintained by firms and organizations. For example, accounting and financial records, personal records, register of members, minutes of meetings, inventory records. All these are not published, but the organization maintains this records. So you can get the data from these sources also. And features of secondary sources. What are the features of this secondary sources? Those secondary sources are diverse and consist of all sorts of materials. They have certain common characteristics. First one is they are ready-made and readily available, and do not require the trouble of constructing tools and administering them. If you just open the book or that report, you get the data. You don't need to construct some tools to collect the data. Directly by referring all those journals, magazines, books, and published reports and records maintained by the organizations, you can get the data. You don't need a separate tool for collecting such kind of data. Secondly, they consist of data over which a researcher has no original control over collection and classification. So you don't need, you don't have, researcher do not have any control over that. It's already reported and it is already classified and reported and published. But both the form and the content of secondary sources are shaped by others. So clearly, this is a feature which can limit the research value of secondary sources. Finally, secondary sources are not limited in time and space. That is, the researcher using them need not have been present when and where they were gathered. So this is secondary sources of data. So we have seen data sources as primary sources and secondary sources, and we have seen primary data and secondary data. So how to gather all these things. Now, use of secondary data. So for what purpose we use this secondary data? So the uses of secondary data are the secondary data may be used in three ways by a researcher. First one is some specific information from secondary sources may be used for reference purpose. For example, the general statistical information in the number of cooperative credit societies in this country, their coverage of villages, their capital structure, volume of business, etc. So may be taken from published reports and quoted as background information in a study on the evaluation of performance of cooperative credit societies in a selected district and state. So second one is secondary data may be used as a benchmark against which the findings of a research may be tested. For example, the findings of a local or regional survey may be compared with the national averages. The performance indicators of a particular bank may be tested against the corresponding indicators of the banking industry as a whole, and so on. And finally, secondary data may be used as the sole source of information for a research project. Such studies as securities market behavior, financial analysis of companies, trends in credit allocation in the commercial banks, sociological studies on crimes, historical studies, and the like depend primarily on secondary data. So yearbooks, statistical reports of government departments, report of public organizations of Bureau of Public Enterprises, census reports, etc. serve as major data sources for such research studies. So these are the use of secondary data. The advantages of the secondary data are secondary data, if available, can be secured quickly and cheaply. Once their